Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are going to use the Timeless Tulips set and some masking technique to create this tulip card. The one that I've made here is a Get Well Soon. The demo that I'm going to make is a Mother's Day card, so it'll be just the same, different greeting. So I've done this as a side opening landscape card, so you'll need a piece of the Blushing Bride cardstock cut at 4 1/4 by the length of the paper and then scored at 5 1/2. You're going to need a piece of white in 5 1/4 by 4 and a piece of the Granny Apple Green cut 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 because we want just a really skinny little border around the edge. I just wanted a hint of that green to tie everything together, but not a big wide border. So I'll just put some things off to the side so that we can get started. To do this card, we do what's called masking, so that we're not stamping over top of a previous image. We're actually masking it out so that it appears that there's depth. So to do that, what I did is I took my tulip and I'm using a sticky note, and I'm going to stamp the image on the sticky note and then clean off my stamp, and then I'm going to cut it out so that I can use it as a mask, and then I will show you how I put the card together. And you can do this in as many colors as you like. You can create a whole field of tulips if you want. I've played with this a couple of different ways, and I think that I have it the way I like it. Again, it's a jumping off point for you. You can make the card however you like, whatever colors, if you want bright red poppies, or if you want nice deep burgundy ones. You can do whatever color you like. You can even do blue tulips if you so desire. So yeah, you just cut the image out of the sticky note as close to the edge as you can. And there we go. So now you have a mask, essentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Blushing Bride, and I'm just going to stamp 4 tulips across the card. I'm just going to stagger them around. You can change the direction of them a little bit if you want. And then I'm just going to pop one up there. And I'm going to clean off my stamp. And then I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight and the masking. So we're going to use the masking a few times to put the tulips on, to put the stems on, and to do some of the leaves where we don't want to stamp over top of what we've already got going on. So I'm going to cover up this tulip, and that's masked. And then I'm going to come in with the Daffodil Delight, and I'm just going to stamp right over top of it. So when I pull this away, I've got the tulip in behind. I'm going to do the same thing on this tulip here, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to stamp this one up and over top of it like that. Can you see how the tulips are now coming in behind? I'm just going to do this one here and pop this one like this. You can see how they're starting to sit above each other. I'm just going to pop another one in here like this. And I'll put another one down at the bottom here like that. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do with this one. I now need to come in with my Granny Apple Green, and I need to do the stems. In some cases, you might need more than one mask to get the stems in. This one, I'm going to mask this flower because the stem is actually going to go right over top. So there's two ends to the stem. The little kind of jaggedy edge actually goes underneath the tulip, and then the really jagged edge is the bottom. So I'm going to ink this up, and I'm going to come in and I put it just over the end of the tulip, like that. When I take the mask away, the stem comes up through the other tulip in behind so that it's not cutting it off. Now this one, to put a stem in here, I'm going to mask this one and I'm going to mask this one because I don't want to risk stamping over top of either of them. So I'm just going to pop this in like that. And I didn't actually need this mask, so that's good. But you can start to see how it creates the depth. I'm going to come in and I'm going to pop a stem in on this one and one in on this one, like that. Now I need to mask that one, and I'm going to mask this one as well. I'm going to ink up again, and I'm going to put a stem on this tulip and a stem on this tulip. And you can vary the angle of the stems if you want. The nice thing about these ones is you could actually curve this stem on the stamp if you wanted to. I'm going to come in like this on this one, and I need to add a stem on this one. So I'm just going to angle in a little bit so it looks like there's two different stems. So now I need to add some leaves. And I don't necessarily want to put a leaf over top of a tulip. So I'm going to mask the tulips again. And I'm going to tuck a leaf in, just like that. And then I'm going to put another leaf in like that. So then when I take the mask away, you can actually see the depth of the leaves. I'm going to leave that mask on because I want to put a leaf over here. So this leaf is actually going to extend up behind the other tulip. So you can start to see the depth. I'm going to just mask this one up and put a leaf in here. Where else should I put a leaf? Maybe I'll do one on this side too. And just come in like that. So I love how the masking creates that layered effect. You can put as many leaves in as you want. We are going to be covering up some of the bottom with the greeting. You can also put a leaf in higher up if you want. There will be leaves a little higher, and I'm going to use two mats on this, or masks on this one, because I don't want to stamp over anything. I'm just going to tuck that down like that and lift up my masks. And sometimes you do get a little bit extra gap. You can always come in and do it again. These are the photopolymer stamps, so you can line up where you want to put this down again, and hopefully I've got that right. Haha, nice. Love it when a plan comes together. So now it's a little bit tighter. I want to put a leaf in at the top here as well. To me, there just appears to be a bit of an empty space. So I'm going to really make sure I've got that lined up, and I'm going to come in and just like that. So there we go. I think I've got all the stamping done that I want to do. It creates a really nice overall field of tulips. I need to stamp the greeting now, and I've got just a scrap. I'm going to stamp it in the Granny Apple Green as well. Let's just stamp that off and make sure I've got good coverage. Sometimes if you always stamp in the middle of the stamp pad or the ink pad, it can get a little bit lighter there. So we're going to stamp that down, and I'm going to use one of the rectangle stitch dies. Now this piece of paper is going to fit just exactly. So I'm going to grab another piece of paper because I've stamped it a little bit crooked. So let's just do that again. See, it doesn't happen perfectly every single time. Sometimes you have to redo. So I'm going to stamp that down, and then I'm going to run it through. That's much better. So I'm just going to set this up and cut it out, and then I'll dimensionalize this onto the card front. So I can pick this up, put it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and attach the greeting. So thank you very much for joining me for this project today. I am really pleased to share it with you. If you haven't subscribed but would like to be notified when new videos come up, please feel free to subscribe and click that bell. So I'm just going to assemble the card now. Again, this piece of Granny Apple Green is cut to 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, so that we've got a very, very narrow border on the Blushing Bride card base. So when we put this down, it's going to be just that little tiny bit of an edge showing. And then when we add in our card front, again, it'll just be that little tiny bit of Granny Apple Green showing. If you have ribbon, at this point you could wrap ribbon around. I don't have any ribbon that coordinates exactly the way I'd like it to, so I haven't done that. We are going to use dimensionals on the greeting, and then we will stick it down, and that's that. So I hope that you have enjoyed the mask process, learning how to do the masks and how to correct if you've made a bit of a mistake on the mask. But there we go. There is a Happy Mother's Day card using the Timeless Tulips set. Thank you very much for watching today, and we will see you next time.